a few things to just talk about, and then we'll open it to questions.
Good afternoon. I hope you all are well. A couple of quick announcements. Brock Holt will be going on a rehab assignment starting tomorrow. It'll be a 2-day assignment with Frisco to AA. They are in San Antonio. Hopefully Brock will come out of those games feeling good, and at which point we will likely activate him and return to our active roster here. Kohei Arihara is throwing a bullpen today. We will see how he comes out of that and then determine the next steps in his rehab. And lastly, today we have officially hit the 85% threshold of vaccinations. So we have reduced restrictions in our protocols as part of the agreement between MLB and the Players Association. So big news on that front today. Happy to take any questions.
Questions? Sam.
One thing we were just talking with Chris Woodward, and he was saying that basically everyone outside of Kyle Gibson, in the starting rotation, and you guys are kind of looking at it on a start-by-start basis. In particular with Jordan, who's had obviously some mixed results. So, I'm curious from your perspective what that conversation is that you guys might have, with some of these guys, before and after they play.
Well, yeah, Sam. I mean, I think it's certainly. I wouldn't say that we're evaluating each start independent of every start collectively. I think that this is a performance-based game, and certainly the players know that. But I wouldn't say that every starter is under constant scrutiny. We have a lot of moving parts this season. We have young pitchers on workload innings limits, and we have veteran players who maybe didn't reach full thresholds last year that they're accustomed to. So there's a balance here, but certainly, we're trying to win. We want to put our best pitchers out there on a daily basis. We want to compete. It's performance-driven, but certainly we continue to look to put the best team on the field and put ourselves in the best position to succeed on a daily basis.
And then, since you just referenced, obviously, with Bracco, making a decision on third base, I know that you guys wanted to get a good look at Andy Ibanez. Do you feel like you got the look that you guys want, and what's your kind of assessment on that position right now?
Well, I think that yes, we've been able to look at Andy. It's been good to see him out there playing. Certainly, we understood the player we had coming out of spring training. He was close to making the team out of camp, and we've added him to the roster. Our anticipation is that Andy will likely. Continue to get opportunity throughout the season, whether it's in the big leagues or AAA. We'll continue to evaluate and determine the best course of action and how he fits our club moving forward.
Okay, Levi.
Hey, Chris. I know you guys hitting the 85%. I was just curious, what do those logistical front? What do those relaxed protocols look like for the team?
I don't have all of them in front of me, so I don't want to speak out of turn, Levi. But certainly, I think they're well documented. But we're excited to get there. I think the biggest takeaway from our standpoint, first of which, is that the virus is still very real. Obviously, the Yankees are in town. They're going through a major scare right now. I think we're all learning from that. So while some of the protocols are relaxed in certain areas, in other areas we have to remain very vigilant and make sure that we continue to keep up our guard. I think our club has done a tremendous job, from our medical staff to our coaches and our trainers, and certainly the players themselves have made a lot of sacrifice and put in great effort to keep each other healthy, and we need to continue to do that. I think the 85% threshold allows us to reduce or relax some of the protocols in certain areas. I think specific to being able to dine indoors, or being able to not have to wear your mask in the dugout or in the bullpen, things like that. But there are other areas where there are no changes. So our guys have all been educated as to what this means and what the expectations are, and our expectation is that they will continue to do a great job protecting each other as we move forward.
I also kind of just wanted to get a more big picture, I guess, update on how things are going for you in your first year as a GM. We're a quarter of the way through the season. I don't know, just a general, report card on yourself. How do you feel like it's going so far? Have there been any surprises? Anything that you feel like you're handling exceptionally well?
Well, look, I don't spend much time self-evaluating right now. I think that time will be the sort of the judge of that, and I'll let you guys give the report card. But, I think in terms of our goals for this season, where we came into the season, what we wanted to do, what we've prioritized, I've seen a lot of progress, and I'm very excited about some of the things we've seen on field with our big league club. I'm very excited about where our minor league system is right now and getting these guys out playing. But it's a work in progress. We have a long way to go. We're spending a lot of time on the draft right now. There are a lot of different aspects to the job that I'm still learning. That said, I think that in some of the areas where we've really prioritized, whether it's the culture of the group, the style of play, the commitment, the work ethic, the underdog mentality, I think we've seen some real progress there. I think I've been very honest in saying that it's not always going to translate in the wins and loss column this season, but the last week certainly has been a rough one. I've experienced the emotional toll of a 6-game losing streak, and it's tough. But that said, I'm proud of the way our guys have played. I see the effort on a daily basis. We certainly have things to work on, but we're continuing to hit those. We will clean those up and give ourselves the best chance to win.
Right on. Thanks, man.
John Radigan.
Hey, Chris, you mentioned the scare that the Yankees have had from a COVID perspective. I wondered if there is do you have to put even stronger measures in place just because of this team coming here? I mean, I know they're not traveling, they're guys that have tested positive, that type of thing, but, some may have possibly been exposed. Do you have to do anything different because of what's been surrounding their team when they come to town?
No, John, that's a great question, and the short answer is no. I think Major League Baseball has done a tremendous job over the past 14 months, really putting protocols in place that protect against some of the cross-team contamination or transmission that I think you're asking about. I think, in fact, last year, I'm not sure there was one instance of any cross-team transmission. So I think that the protocols are in place. They've been very effective. I think certainly there's been instances of outbreaks amongst teams, but we have no concern in terms of the Yankees being in town and are certainly sympathetic to what they're going through.
Chris, you mentioned you've experienced the emotional toll of a 6-game losing streak. Woody told the guys yesterday, I want this to hurt. I want this to sting. But you almost don't even have to tell players that, do you? It does automatically, doesn't it?
I would probably say that yes, it does. The players feel it, but our players do. I've been in clubhouses where you just sort of brush it off, and the guys didn't it didn't bother them, and those teams were not successful teams. The character of our group, I know it stings, and I know that they have a lot of pride, and I know that they're going to do their best to come out and change that tonight or tomorrow or whenever it happens. So that's the one area that I am very confident, the makeup of our group, the character of our group. These guys are competitors. They do not like losing, and it truly does bother them.
Okay, let's go to Evan Grant.
Hello, Chris. Just double check, I don't know if you can even answer this, but in regards to the lowering of the protocol restrictions, are you at 100% or somewhere less than that?
100% of protocol reduction? No.
100% of vaccines.
You'd have to ask one of the trainers that. I don't have the number in front of me, Evan.
Okay. When you mentioned the draft, the one thing I had for you is, do you personally envision seeing all of the possible guys that would be selected with the first selection, personally?
The picks that we will consider, I intend to see all of them, yes. And, I think that over the next few weeks, I'll spend a lot of time seeing players. JD is as well put in a lot of time on the road. But it's a high priority for us. And, yes, I do expect to see all of them in person.
And then the last thing is, you knew coming in that there would be some challenges for this team this year. And obviously a 6-game losing streak represents those challenges. addressed a lot of that, but what did you feel like your club would get out of going through some kind of adversity like this? What would be the positive residue long term?
Well, look, I tell my kids that often you learn as much through losing as you do winning. Now, certainly I don't want that to happen at the big league level, but I think there are important lessons that come from that. I mean, I think first and foremost, our group competes. I don't think you can deny that. I think that this group really competes. We've been in a lot of games, and we've had a lot of tough losses, especially in the last week. So there is a real character there. There's a fight. Even when they've been down early, they've found a way to fight back and get back in the late innings. It's been fun to see. But I think that the real lesson is that every little thing, there's a fine line between winning and losing at this level, and sometimes it's not truly defined by talent. It's all the little things that go into it. It's a play in the first inning, a big pitch in the third inning. It doesn't come down to the last inning of every game, and they all add up. And so there are little things over the course of the game that certainly we've made mistakes that have cost us, and we learn from those, and we're going to get better from it. We have a young group, a lot of energy, a lot of pride. These guys, again, they play the game the right way, and those are all positive takeaways. But the lesson of learning that every little thing matters, and not taking a pitch off, and competing, and making every play throughout the course of a game, those things make a difference in winning and losing.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
We'll go to Jared.
Hey, Chris, I'm curious, just from a general perspective, obviously, I know you have your own intuition and your own experiences, but who are some of the people who have helped you in evaluating players and understanding the scouting side, I guess, of what you have to do now?
Well, Jared, it's been immense. I mean, it's been first within our own organization, our scouting department, our pro personnel group, JD, our assistant GMs, Josh Boyd, Mike Daly, Shiraz. Every conversation, whether people around me realize it or not, I'm taking away something. I'm learning constantly, and that's it's important. It's important as the culture of our group that we all continue to do that. Nobody in this industry has all the answers. Nobody has it all figured out. And I think that as we continue to learn, we continue to grow, and we get better at what we do. So we have a tremendous group of scouts. We have a great pro personnel scouting group. We have on the player development side, our coordinators, our coaches. Just listening, absorbing, and processing information. It's as much of my growth and development as anything. And really, I take something away from everybody, including you guys, and the questions you ask, whether listening to the broadcast when the team's on the road. I mean, there are great points that are raised on a daily basis that help me evaluate and question, where we're headed, what we're doing, and I love every aspect of it.
And then, totally unrelated, I'm curious, in evaluating whether it's your own guys or other guys, with the offensive numbers down so far, and whatever we look at now and how it compares to the rest of the league, it might look a lot better in 2021 than, say, 2-3 years ago. How is the drop-off in offense so far? How does that impact the way you evaluate an individual player, be it someone on the Rangers or an opponent?
Well, I think you have to take it in context of what the league averages are, and that's certainly something that our analytics group does a great job. They really, shape our opinions and assessments on players based on what the trends in the game are, and I think that will continue. I think it always will play an important role of us understanding, and really trying to get ahead of certain trends within the game as well. So, certainly the characteristics of the game right now, with offense being down, strikeouts up, balls in play lower. Those are things that we continue to monitor, and I think it impacts our philosophies and player development and what we're trying to do to groom the next batch of successful major league players. The things that we value and what we teach, and reinforcing those things so that when they come up to this level, we're ahead of the curve to some degree.
Couple more here, and we'll go to Alex.
Hey, Chris, one of the old cliches is taking it one day at a time. It's certainly something that this team has taken a part of. When you're dealing with a young team and a skid like this, as a GM and as a former player, how difficult is it to take that one day at a time mentality?
Alex, it's a great question, and as you get to know me, it's one of my fundamental beliefs. Just simplifying complex issues and really breaking it down to its most simple form. It's something that, as a player, I was able to do, and I think that it's really important that, as an organization, we continue to do that as well. If you look at things in their totality, it can be very overwhelming. And certainly, you can look back over the course of the last 6 days or 7 days and during the streak and find a bunch of different things that cost us. But in the end, it's about making one good play after one good play. And if we can simplify it, break it down to that, concentrate and focus on what we can control, and go out and just know that it is one day at a time, one pitch at a time, compete, one pitch at a time over the course of 9 innings, I'll take our chances. Given the resilience, the fight in our group, I think that I think they can do that, and that's going to be the key to kind of breaking this cycle here.
Do you feel like this is Joey Gallo said, while this may be a young team on paper, they don't act. Do you see that?
I do. There's a maturity that you would see with some veteran teams to some degree. I mean, really the focus, the work ethic, the commitment. These are characteristics, again, that will at some point show in the wins column. But right now, we see it on a daily basis. We're proud of the group. We're proud of the way they compete, the way they go about it, the focus, the energy, the positivity, the commitment. And those are traits of winning teams. And certainly, we're not there yet in terms of our record, but it will come. And that's part of the culture that we're trying to enhance here. And it's one of the things that gives me real excitement about what I've seen early on this season.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you.
Okay, last one. We'll go to Levi.
Hey, I was hearing you talk about learning from every conversation that you have organization-wide. I'm wondering, with you being in the front office, but you were a successful big league pitcher for a long time, and I'm just curious if you ever have an opportunity, or if this is something that you do, that you get a chance to talk to the pitchers on the team much and kind of just talk shop, or do you feel like you need to have some more distance because of your role as a general manager?
No, I think that more so I've had those conversations, Levi, on individual basis, not really in a group setting. Some of that is really understanding the boundaries of the role, and but also, we have great pitching coaches who reinforce a lot of my convictions and beliefs, and have their own beliefs that I believe that parallel mine, and so. But in terms of an individual basis, those conversations, I truly value those. It's one of the best aspects of this job. I've done a ton of them on the player development side, and just connecting with people. I'm a big believer that our jobs are to create the best environment possible, choose the right talent, and then allow them to maximize their potential. And being able to understand the individual player, what motivates them, what makes them tick, what drives them, what gets the best out of them. Those are very, very important aspects to me in terms of building this championship team here. And so I do value those conversations. It's one of my most fun aspects of my job, and it's ultimately talking baseball, and that's what I love.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Okay, we'll let Chris go, and that will conclude our Zoom. You also saw I tweeted out that catcher Jack Kruger has been assigned outright to Round Rock.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.